owner, he's like, hey, I'm leaving for the day. Why don't you grab your shit and come walk with me? And I was like, okay, cool. I'm all excited, not realizing I'm about to get like the axe.
Just happily walking in to get fired.
Like a happy cow to slaughter. Just like, let's go. All right. So he walks me out to the parking lot. He's like, all right, so you've hung out here for a few days? I'm like, yeah, it's great. He's like, you see the caliber of work that we do and our work. And I go, yeah, it's awesome. And he's like, cool. So don't come back here until your work is at that caliber.
Oh, no way, dude. Oh.
And still naive, I just took it as, all right, cool. So he said, come back when my work's better.
Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. With your host, Craig Casamas and Big J Curran.
Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast, guys.
What's happening?
We have a very special guest on tonight, a man that we met at a tattoo convention in an alley. Welcome
to Oxford.
Alex Coulter. Fuck! I said it 14 times.
We just did this.
Alex Coulter, fucking awesome tattooer, owns his own studio, business owner, tattooer, gun fanatic, online fucking comedy man, dude.
Nut job.
Welcome to the podcast, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Good to be
Worst
here.
intro ever, by the way.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Fucking terrible, dude.
Horrible. You're probably just
Nailed
really
it.
tired from cleaning the garage
That's
all day.
that's exactly what.
Hey, just real quick though, when I went outside to move the truck, I noticed that there was a backpack baby carrier thing out there.
Yeah.
Brand new. You got 3 kids, and that thing looked like it's never been used. Is it
we
because
use the
it
shit out
didn't
of
fit
that
you?
thing. Yeah, I can't close the chest. But
Yeah.
No,
Oh, is that shit for free?
Yeah, it's for free. Take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing I unloaded the
dude,
trunk of the Subaru.
We that Bronson's too big for it now. Don't you fucking put him on your back, dude. See how it goes.
My kids are all gone, bro.
You barely
try to run.
Welcome to the fucking podcast, dude.
Thanks.
I do want to thank you because you drove from a ridiculously far spot to be here.
Thank you.
That's nothing.
And that's what a real fucking podcast guest does. He spends all of his own money and drives here for 3 fucking hours to receive a shitty coffee cup.
This is my new favorite mug. Yeah.
Anyway, man. But it was a pleasure to meet you at the at the tattoo convention. You were one of the judges, right?
Yep.
How'd that go?
It's weird. I don't know why I was up there. Like we were talking before. Big time imposter syndrome.
Did you?
Yeah. Well,
your work doesn't say imposter.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
you have,
no shit.
I was 2 legends,
Right.
Robert and JoJo are phenomenal, and I am not in that realm. But they were so cool. They were so nice to me when we were up there on stage. They're cracking jokes with me, and made me feel totally welcome. But in all honesty, I just reached out to the gal that puts on the convention, Christina.
Yeah.
Yep. And I did it last year.
Okay.
And just to kind of help promote the other business that I have.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, go for it.
That's
Turns
awesome.
out they have a hard time getting people who want to judge. So.
I could imagine. Yeah. Well, first of all, you're signing up for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
And you have to consistently bum people out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I
And
bet.
I've got a good story about that. So Charlie Cartwright of Good Time Charlie's last year, it was like the first night. And I think one of the other judges went up to him and asked him like, oh, you ever judge the competitions and he's so sweet. He's such a nice guy, and he's like, nah, I don't like to do that. And he's like, why not? And he's like, every one of those tattoos is made with love, and when
I know,
you critique it, you break their hearts. And I was like, I'm terrible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak for JoJo, but I know it's like not his favorite thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a bummer, because they're all. If you're there, you're good. You're a good tattooer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
what it is.
And it's weird because we're nitpicking. We're having to there's 10 good tattoos, and we have to pick one of the best.
Right.
And I've had it multiple times where people come up to me after and go, hey man, can I get a critique? Like, why didn't I win? And I'm just like, if you are in a tattoo convention do not do that, because that's
Totally,
because I get where they're coming from. They're thinking this is they're gonna get some master critique, and it's like, dude, your tattoo is phenomenal. It just got beaten out by some other one. We had to be nitpicky about it.
Right.
I'm also not in a position to, I think, critique your work super heavily, and
Yeah.
I did the same thing when I did my shin. And we went to a tattoo convention in Hollywood. And afterwards, when we were done, I kind of asked the guy kind of the same thing. And he goes, "Oh, you obviously got the tattoo super recently, and you have this stuff on there. So there was reflection, and there's a, and kind of was like, he just this, and this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, shit. All right, cool. I'll never do it again. Go fuck yourself." So that's what we're thinking when you say that shit.
No, this was an artist though, why didn't my tattoo win?
Right.
Whoa.
And then I think one of them even hit me with like, well, I paid $10 to enter the competition, so like I kind of am owed a critique. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I've been tattooing all day and then just sat on that stage for 3 hours. I've looked at 400 tattoos.
Totally.
I'm done, man.
Yeah.
I want to get out of here now.
I
And go
bet,
have
dude.
some beers at the hotel.
Do something, right? Yeah. It was awesome. And obviously, as we were doing the podcast with JoJo, we talked to you a couple times, and I will say you have the best business card in the game, dude.
Oh yeah.
Did you have any with you?
Do I?
I don't know.
Probably not, because I'm terrible.
That's
with that.
fine. Yeah,
I think I have them in the car, but
Yeah, no worries, dude.
well,
so
here, this is what they look like.
Yeah.
Here's my actual Costco card. And the business card's not far off
It's
from
exactly, your business card fucking tickled me, dude, because it was like, literally, he hands me his Costco card, and I'm like, I think it's the wrong card. And he's like, no, it's not. I'm like, fuck. And I look at it, and I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. And it's fucking perfect, dude. It's a good one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you a Costco guy?
You saw the card?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I went to Costco today. I tried to go today. Right, our Costco is nuts, and it's Thanksgiving. So
I was gonna say on a Monday you should be fine, but no, all the kids are out of school. Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Oh my god! So I got there, and it took me 30 solid minutes to park. And as I'm getting there, it's a huge lot, massive, not a single spot. I ended up going nuts to butts with a Burger King that's right there.
Okay,
and it's a notorious problem apparently. Because as I got out and was walking away, the manager is like doing parking lot. She's like, "You guys can't park here." And she's trying to kick people out of the Burger King lot, for parking for Costco. And she stops me and she's like, "You can't park here." And I was like, "Hey, Burger King fucking sucks. No one's eating here. What are you talking about?" And she's like, "You can't park here." I said,
"Is there a line of cars waiting for a spot at the Burger King?"
I said, "Look, not a single person in the store.
Yeah.
Not one person in the drive-thru. Burger King fucking sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll be out in 10 minutes." Yeah. She was like, "That's so rude." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. It was. It was really rude." But also, Burger King fucking sucks, dude.
I like their fries.
Yeah. But I get in there, and after I knew it was going to be a problem, the lines were to the back of the store. And I went, nope. And I just fucking turned around and left, dude. And that's how I know I'm getting older.
I can't believe that you made it to the Burger King
I know.
parking lot.
I know.
As soon as I can't park within a reasonable,
I know. I thought about it the whole time, dude.
Yeah.
But then that chick set me off for Burger King. I was like, well, I'm going to fucking die in this parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving, period, ever now. I live here.
I'm getting my stuff.
I fucking live here now.
Yeah.
And then,
there used to be like
immediately.
good times you could go to Costco, but now it seems like it could be Tuesday at 2:00 and it's packed.
It's
like
fucked.
all the time.
Yeah.
And it's actually probably not always the best deal, but there's something about it. You're like, well, I paid for the membership. I'll go buy my
that
stuff.
Kirkland brand, though, dude. I'm buying Kirkland pants now. I'm fucking all in.
Well, some of my merch also has the Kirkland logo, but it says Alex Coulter tattoo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Someone's like, aren't you afraid to get in sued? I'm like, no.
I don't think they're going to find out shit.
No.
You think Costco's worried about you?
No, and if they are, I've won.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
yes.
Yeah, if you get a cease and desist from them, you won.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Then I will just turn that into like a card or something.
Build upon the merch, dude. Yeah, it's I went there for a brisket, and I was like, this is not worth it. It's going to take me 1.5 hours to get out of here. Fuck this. But yeah. Business card is
You smoke
fucking,
brisket?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, yes. Jay says I don't, but Jay's so mad at me, dude, because I have a pellet
I'm not
grill.
mad at him.
Are you a barbecue guy?
Yeah.
I am. I'll smoke meat. I have not ever done a brisket.
Okay.
But I do charcoal wood.
There you go.
Like in
Like a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the way my dad taught me.
Yeah.
I do the turkey every Thanksgiving in it
Nice.
now. And,
Yeah. So you're legit.
I'm up at like 2 a.m,
Yeah.
getting that thing started.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, here's the thing. I get to do a brisket for 16 hours, and guess who gets to sleep?
You.
This guy.
I've seen a guy on the golf course before, and he's like checking his phone. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm cooking a brisket. I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you're not. Yeah.
No,
you're not.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to be suffering and out there every 30 minutes making sure your fire's still going. Yeah.
If you're not mad at the fire, you know what I mean? Like, you're not doing it right. You know?
And it's all for bragging rights. It's also
that's all it is. Yeah.
On Thanksgiving Day, you can walk around and go, I was up at 2 a.m. working on this turkey.
You know how long I fucking worked on that thing?
I like the results.
Yeah.
I love the results.
Smoked turkey is way better.
Smoked turkey, and then as soon as the turkey's done, I take the carcass and make stock.
Ooh,
Immediately.
yeah.
I mean, it's so good, dude.
I don't think we did that before, but I'll try and do that this year.
Do it, make the stock, and then come Christmas time, make a soup. And you get all the smoky from the roasted carcass, and it's so good, dude.
Jay's actually incredible fucking cook.
I love to cook. I got food
It's
for
like,
you in
it just
G2.
makes me so mad that I have to say it, but
Yeah.
he really is, dude. It's
awesome.
really
Yeah.
fucking seriously good.
I can't. I have a Traeger in my backyard that was my brother's, and it's sat there for 5-6 years, and I won't even touch it. I won't move it. I won't do nothing with it. It just sits there.
Yeah.
And there's been times where I'm like, oh, God damn it! But I've talked so much shit that there's no way I could. I feel bad using it. I got one of those thermometers that you stick in the meat and then you can look at your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a chump when I use that, man. I've been, because I just got it recently, and I'm just like totally critiquing myself. What the fuck's wrong with you? Yeah.
You just hear all of your black family being
Oh
like,
my
what
God,
the fuck,
dude.
dude?
Well, the thing with the black family is they overcook everything.
That's
man.
true.
So
Yeah.
it's not very hard. You just wait until you fucking can bounce it off the ground, and then it's ready to go. Throw barbecue sauce on it.
But you ain't
eat some
fucking
mac
with
and
those
cheese.
sides, though, are you?
No,
yeah,
hell no.
Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, it's I don't know. The holidays we're so excited. Obviously, you can tell we're very excited for Thanksgiving,
Yes.
dude. But,
Yep.
I did want to get into. So you've been tattooing for a good while.
Yeah, about 10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years. And where did you get your start? Are you from out in Orange County area?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, born in Anaheim, raised in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
And then, I always wanted to be a tattoo artist since I was
Really?
like 12 years old.
Okay.
My dad took me to a tattoo shop with him and he got a tattoo, and I was like, that's what I'm.
That's cool
That's
as
what I want to
shit,
do,
dude.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going to. It took me a long time. I was kind of like a late bloomer and not very like as far as like having like drive. I went to community college for 2 years, and then my parents were like, you have to get a degree. It's back when like everyone was still pushing like you have to go to college.
Totally,
And
yeah.
I completely disagree with that and wish I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I did learn some stuff from it though. I went to art school because I was like, well, if I have to go to school, I'm gonna pick that and use it for this tattoo thing.
Right.
And then I worked in restaurants all through that, and then eventually got an apprenticeship. Very hard thing to do. Took me
Right.
a lot of different tries. I started an apprenticeship and was a year in, and then they kind of got shut down, and we're going to open a new shop. And I was kind of just like, I'm a year in. I'm not ready to be a tattoo artist, but I'm already
Right.
doing tattoos as an
Right.
apprentice at that point. So then I went back to the shop I ended up apprenticing at called Tattoo Gallery.
Okay.
So they were one of the first I went to. They were
Okay.
always like my goal. I wanted to work there.
Oh, okay.
One of the guys that works there is my mentor. Heck, he did my very first tattoo when I was 18.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping all
No,
over.
that's all good.
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, please.
But so after they said no when I first went to them. In fact, the owner, I'll never forget this. They let me hang out for like a day or two, and I'm drawing and hanging out. And the owner, he's like, "Hey, I'm leaving for the day. Why don't you grab your shit and come walk with me?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm all excited, not realizing I'm about to get like the axe.
Just happily walking in to get fired.
Like a happy cow to slaughter. Just like, let's go. All right. So he walks me out to the parking lot. He's like, all right, so you've hung out here for a few days? I'm like, yeah, it's great. He's like, you see the caliber of work that we do and our work. And I go, yeah, it's awesome. And he's like, cool. So don't come back here until your work is at that caliber.
Oh, no way, dude. Oh.
And still naive, I just took it as, all right, cool. So he said, come back when my work's better.
Yeah.
I'm going to go work on my artwork. And in between that time, while I was working on a portfolio, I ended up getting an apprenticeship at another spot.
Okay.
So that was my first one. That was that first year. When that year was over, I then went back to Tattoo Gallery,
Okay.
ran into a couple of the guys at an art show that my band was playing at. And I was like, hey, my apprenticeship just kind of like fell through the cracks. The shop's not there anymore. Can I go work at the Tattoo Gallery? And they're like, you can't work here, but like you can start over and start your apprenticeship back from scratch. And I'm like, I put a year in, and so it ended up being another 2 years. So I did 3 years of apprenticing.
Wow. So 2 years is the average, though?
I would say, and well, used to be.
Yeah. Now you can just go right in from TikTok, right?
Yeah. or even if you're doing a traditional apprenticeship now, I'm seeing people, they're like tattooing in 2-3 months, and then they're like graduating in 6 months. And I'm like,
right.
I'm 10 years in now and barely feel comfortable and confident.
Right.
Like,
It's crazy.
it's wild.
Yeah.
But
And real quick, just I want to address something that you said. For people listening, when he was told, hey, look, you're not good enough, he didn't go, oh, fuck, I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah.
He went, oh, shit, I better get better. Right. So listen, people, to what happened here. And then he realized and went and still ended up doing another 2 years.
Right.
That's dedication. That's how you get someplace. That's how you make shit happen. That's how you get to be a well-known tattoo artist that is really doing astounding work. So pay attention, not the TikTok shit.
Dude, and that's definitely, I want to dive into that stuff in a little bit, dude.
But and we'll get into it more. But I no, that's not something new.
No, it's not.
You know,
people just thinking they can cut the fucking line. Yeah, but
I appreciate you saying that. I mean, the work ethic is something my parents like drove into me.
100%.
And my mindset was always like, unless, and even through the apprenticeship, many times I wanted to quit. Especially, like you said, starting from scratch is really hard to not have an ego and go, I should be further ahead.
Right.
You know, I'm also older. I should be there already. You know, and all these things. But every time I wanted to quit or got frustrated, I just went like, all right, you didn't kill me today, so I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, right, 100%.
If you don't kill me, I'll keep going.
Keep coming back.
You know, I've been around tattoo shops since late 80s. And apprenticeships used to be a motherfucker. It wasn't like, you know, there's a reason why you want to quit. You know, I mean, no, I don't want to make any more needles. But you have to make needles all day. You have to make needles, and you have to do the autoclave, and you have to do all of this work that's teaching you how to do it right. But nobody wants to take those steps. And nowadays you don't. You just order, you know, I'm going to order fucking 50 shading needles, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. I unfortunately did not get to learn how to make needles.
Right.
Really?
It's something that all my mentors had to do. They all apprenticed at that time. By the time I came along, they're like, yeah, dude, I can show you, but like, I really actually don't.
No one wants to do it.
And
it was out of necessity that it had to happen. Yeah.
And now I guess my version of like needle making, because I'm in like the next generation, is like, I used to draw with tracing paper and a pencil and not an iPad. And I know how to build a machine and tune it and not use just a pen and a cartridge. So it's weird. And then the next generation will have another thing where like, I didn't use AI.
Yeah. I just 3D printed this shit on you. It's wild, man, because you see guys that are using iPads and they take a picture and they wrap the thing around, you know, and you're like, I mean, and I guess, dude, you know what I mean? But it's just not, I can't imagine it's going to translate exactly on the fucking skin. You know what I mean?
I don't know. There's some people that are so talented now.
It is true. Yeah. You can find
still,
use it to your advantage.
To me, and I could be off base, but you can kind of, except for everybody uses it now. But I've seen people that use the iPad, and then you watch them do it, and then you see the work when it's done, and you can tell, like, that's not drawn. You know what I mean? Like that. It is not. You can tell that it's more, you know, done on an iPad instead of being set there and drawing it up on a piece of paper. Now, that being said, the art's still phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a lot more efficient.
I think it's all in how you use it. So I try to use the iPad as a more efficient tracing paper.
Right.
And so I still use it in the way that I would use a traditional pencil and paper.
Right.
And a lot of times I'm kind of at a place now where I'll create my line work and I know I hear my mentor yelling at me like, you should have a shading reference. But a lot of times I already have it in my head if it's something I've done a few times. And so my line art that I use for my stencil is just that. And then the end result is like something completely different, fully shaded. And a lot of times my clients are like, whoa, like, man, that is so much better than I thought. You just showed me that weird line thing. And then now I should be better about creating like fully rendered
See that when we had Brett Herman on, he purposely will not show anyone a fully rendered piece, and it makes sense to me. You know what I mean? He'll show you the outline, drawing, the overall, the day of.
Yeah.
He won't fucking even send it to you, which is totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't send art, and I tell my clients now, like I used to be embarrassed by it. Like I am drawing your thing the night before.
Right.
I've always done it. It's
right.
fresh in my head. It just works for me. It's my process. But yeah, so when you show up, I'll have it ready for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So then I don't feel bad about it. And I think the reason is I like to make choices when I'm in the moment while I'm tattooing, you know? Like
whatever serves the piece better.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
When you're blending colors and working with a palette, you have to be able to be more adverse in your thoughts and not just stuck to...
I'm using 4 colors today.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer black and gray.
Of course,
so, But I'll do color when you ask.
Of course, But your work speaks for
your
itself.
money.
Dude, you know? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, but when you see your work online and shit, you're like fucking. You're obviously a fucking talented artist. Yeah. So you've always been an artist as a kid, always drawn all that shit. I heard you mention that you play music.
Yeah.
What was that fucking path like? What were you doing?
I started
punk rock, metal.
Yes.
Indie rock.
Yep.
All of it.
The last band I was in was like a bluegrass, like the country bluegrass. What's the word I'm looking for?
Americana?
Yeah, it'll come to me.
Like dark country kind of shit?
Yeah, like outlaw country.
Outlaw country.
Yeah. So outlaw country meets bluegrass.
Okay.
And
what do you play?
I play guitar.
Okay.
And tried to sing.
Yeah. That's welcome to my whole fucking career, dude. Music. I play guitar and I yell. That's what I can't even call it singing, dude.
The music's always just been a fun thing. I took guitar lessons really early on and always just loved music, and so but that's a hard path.
It certainly is, dude.
It's all a hard
It's
path.
a fun path though.
It is, yeah.
I had so much fun when we were playing in bands. It's like you look back at those times, like we were young, no one had kids yet. We're like drinking and playing bars. Like, man, you look back, you're like,
God damn, I know. Yeah, I got to do a good amount of touring and shit and music and playing music and stuff, and I love every fucking experience I've had. But as you get older, you're like, nah, I'm good.
Those roads, those stories from the road are like lifelong stories.
They are, they are. Did you ever get to do you guys play a lot of shows? Do you ever guys ever do little tours or anything?
We did one tour. We played a lot in downtown Huntington Beach at the bars. That was kind of our thing. There wasn't a lot of country music down there.
Sure.
But we did one tour where we went up to San Francisco, and then we went all the way up to Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
And back, and we played like Sacramento, a few places along the way. It was so much fun though, man. Just your best friends in a car with a trailer driving and partying and playing music. Like,
it's so much fun. I think it's like one of those things that I wish everyone could experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm glad they don't, but you know, it's like, because there's no places to play, you know what I mean? If everyone's doing it. But, I loved playing music. You know what I mean? That was one of my first fucking true loves. You know what I mean?
There's nothing that sounds fun about it to me.
I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It would just be
stuck in a van with a bunch of smelly motherfuckers, dude.
And then
right? It's a certain type of person, dude. That's all it is, you know.
Going into a bunch of fucking cities I don't know and not know what's going on and that's some serious.
Playing to weird crowds, playing to small crowds, spending the night in a bar where the guy makes homemade mead.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's
that must have been
he's
Oregon.
Like a pagan.
That was Bend, Oregon. It was the horned
the most
hand.
Bend to Oregon shit. We've been there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think it's there anymore.
Yeah.
But the guy was like, "Hey, it's snowing outside. You don't have to sleep in that little trailer. Stay in the bar. Here's as much PBR as you want, and here's
thinking
mead."
Of Eugene. Sorry, that's where we were in Eugene. There was a bar that sold only mead. It was like a Viking bar, dude. It was
that
awesome.
Had to be
must have been the same place. Yeah.
Well,
it was wild, dude.
Might have been
everyone
Bend.
was on heroin. they were all wearing like you know, fucking Thor's hammers and shit, and they're all like, and then they're like, like everyone in that town is on heroin, dude. It was
I think
insane.
this might have been a different town.
Yeah, I don't know. Eugene was a junky fucking
we did
town.
Eugene
when I was a kid. It was my dad always said it was a meth town.
Yeah, well, it switched. It made it hard left, dude.
Yeah.
Now everything's just fentanyl.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. Everyone just dies everywhere.
Yeah, dude. I just did a ride along in with Costa Mesa PD. A lot of my clients are cops, and I'll go on ride-alongs for fun with them.
Yeah,
but I'm like, so what's hot right now? And he's like, everything's fentanyl. No one does meth or heroin anymore. It's just fentanyl. Like,
fuck, dude.
Yeah,
that's so scary.
Look, fentanyl is going to kill you, or there's a strong potential. But I think it's better than doing meth.
I don't know.
At least you just go out. You know, meth just fucking slowly deteriorates you and rots your body to nothing. Yeah.
Have you seen that footage of I can't remember who the fucking rapper is, but there's this rapper that was on this show, and he was like, "We need crack back."
Yeah.
We need crack. It's the fucking funniest thing because it's totally actually true. But he's like, I never met a fucking crackhead that died ever.
Yeah.
He's all, they'll change your tires, they'll fix your car, they'll get you a TV. They're running at full speed everywhere they go. He's all, every one of these motherfuckers that started doing fentanyl is dead. They're dying. He's all, we need crack. We need crack back in the communities.
I heard that the cartels are actually mad. Like, hey, slow down on with China. Like, slow down on the fentanyl.
Kill order, right?
Yeah, like you're killing all your users, man.
Yeah, that's I heard some of the cartels put out a murder, like a kill order. If you get caught putting fentanyl in their shit, they're gonna fucking kill you. Because it is, I mean, it's killing everyone. You know what I mean?
It's a dangerous game.
It's wild, man. Never got no drugs, no nothing. Never fucked around.
Pretty straight laced, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I of course dabbled in college, but it was never really for me. You know, like I like drinking a little bit. Like we were saying earlier, like so many of my friends are sober now, and you know, I'm happy for them, but I feel like, am I the last one? Like, but they all tell me, they're like, dude, you can have a beer with dinner and not keep drinking, you know?
Right.
And so,
how old are you're all in about what age?
We're all like in our late 30s, early 40s.
As they'll come back.
I hope so. I'll be waiting for you guys.
No, eventually they'll be
fucking IPA.
I'm still here.
Yeah. They'll be doing glasses of wine and you know,
telling you how they don't have a problem still. You know what I mean? It's fucking happens. Yeah, it goes in waves. I mean, the non-drinking thing it's rough. You know.
I mean, I know my days are numbered. I've always like felt that back in you know somewhere in my body. Like, I think at a certain age, I'll just you know, it's hard to keep up. And
it certainly is, dude.
You know, I like I said, I don't drink a lot, but every once in a while, once a month, once every couple of weeks, I'll like throw back a few extra beers on a day I don't have work the next day, and then you're like, oh,
yeah,
that hurts.
Yeah. And I'm an asshole. I'll drink those high octane fucking IPAs and shit, and you drink 3 of those, and you're like, I'm fucking trashed.
I have to stay around.
You guys are fucking adorable.
I know. This guy's a bottle of tequila every 5 hours.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll sit there and do 6 or 7 shots. And drink beers while I'm doing it. And I'll do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
I need to get on your level.
Yeah, Jay will try to kill you at his bar.
Jay's trying to get off of Jay's level.
Even Jay can't handle his level. Dude. You're doing a good job, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Your full weekend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Congratulations,
awesome.
dude.
It's one of my favorite things.
Drinking?
Well, dude, 100% it's one of my favorite fucking things. But when somebody goes, I'll drink with you. Mm-hmm. And I'll go,
good luck.
Okay.
Good luck.
Unless you're 300 pounds, you're not, it's just not going to happen, you know?
Oh. Yeah, it's like I got 30 years experience, bud.
Yeah, yes.
Good luck.
You're rolling with the big dogs now.
Yeah.
You're sitting next to JoJo Ackerman. How's that? Come on out.
That's so good.
It's wild, man. So tattooing takes off. You've been building a clientele for a long time, but you also have like your business, which is a pretty it seems to be pretty innovative.
How long have you been in the business? How long because we didn't
tattooing?
touch that. In the industry.
10 years total.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so maybe this is my 11th year.
So you mean that's a long time, but it's not. It's you know, I mean,
it is and it isn't. I was just talking to a buddy of mine who's a plumber, and he's been doing it almost the exact same amount of time. And I was like, hey, you're at a point now, like you've been doing it long enough. When you walk into a house, is there anything that throws you off guard? Anything you haven't seen before? And he's like, dude, just at this point, I finally feel comfortable where like, I know enough that nothing's throwing me off when I go into a house. And I was like, that's how I feel about tattooing. 10 years in, I am just barely like,
I can handle
comfortable.
anything.
And I say that cautiously because I feel the way tattooing works is like it throws curveballs at you. And the second you think like, I got lining down, I'm like, nothing. I've got the next day you're gonna like be struggling again.
That is cool. That is true within any trade or true craft. Because like with what I do, right? Like running heavy equipment, which I went through an apprenticeship to be a journeyman. I'm a journeyman operator now, right? Which is a 3-year program. Essentially, you're running equipment the whole time, just like you're tattooing.
Yeah.
But and now I teach people how to do it, right?
Cool.
A bunch of different shit. So I worked on the freeways for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking grinding for a company. Got hired by my unit to be an instructor. And I tell my apprentices constantly, like, you will graduate at 3 years and be a journeyman. And it isn't until year 5, which is 10,000 hours, essentially, that you will finally understand what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Really, it's very, very fucking true. At 5 years, I knew that I could walk into any fucking job in any situation and be like, all right, I understand what we're doing here. Up until that point, that 10,000 hours, which is like the Japanese apprenticeship.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is fucking, you are still learning, and you still learn every day if you're smart. But that 100%, 10 years makes sense because that's probably 10,000 hours, roughly, maybe more, maybe less.
I'd have to do the math. But
but I mean, it's, you're not working.
I'm not going to do the math.
Yeah. Well, 2,000 a year is a full 40 hours a week. You know what I mean? So if you kind of extrapolate that, you're probably right around 7 to 10 years, depending on how much you work.
Yeah.
And it totally makes sense. You know what I mean? So when you get into that 10-year market tattooing, or just like stand-up, they talk about stand-ups all the time, right?
You guys ever watch Kill Tony?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm addicted to that show right now.
Shit, dude.
Oh, it's the best.
That was it. Cliff Montgomery the other day, the redheaded dude.
What's his name?
It's Montgomery. Something Montgomery, man.
The Thriller, the Vanilla Gorilla, the Tijuana Tarantula.
Screams on everyone.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. I love that show.
Me too, man. I'll just sit like in the backyard with my iPad and just watch it. My wife will come out like,
what are you doing?
Come inside.
It's too good right now. Cam.
Oh,
Cam's a good one, man.
Oh, God.
Hans Lee.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, that is one of the craziest. To go up, like, because I've always had delusions of grandeur about doing comedy. You know what I mean?
Do a minute right now.
There's no way. Yeah. But to go up on that show and do a minute would be insane with hundreds of thousands of people watching, dude. Like, it's fucking crazy.
I would rather do that than try to tattoo somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would tattoo you in a heartbeat, but
yeah.
I'd let you tattoo me.
Yeah. That getting up on stage.
You're going to get hepatitis, dude.
Can't get it twice. Can you?
I don't know. No. There might be a whole new strain by the time we're done, dude.
Sick.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. Did you say? I like Kill Tony, man. Did you see that guy that got up there that looks like he's 12? And
Yeah.
he's like
Oh my God. His first line, he goes, I feel like I'm the opposite of a pedophile.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, he could have walked off stage with that.
Cordis.
So good.
Something Cordis, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
And
God damn,
he was on there
nuts.
again the other day, and he was hilarious all
God
over.
damn it.
And I'm like, talk about taking advantage of a situation,
Dude, he has
man.
Benjamin Button disease, and he doesn't know what he has.
No.
That's the craziest part. Like, he doesn't know what he has.
Yeah. They're like, you didn't want to find out. He's like,
nuts,
no.
man.
No, it's fucking awesome. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm from fucking Arkansas. We don't know anything over there.
Yeah. That's such good shit, dude.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, that's about the only show I will really get stuck in a hole watching.
Yeah. If you see the episode, it's like 2.5 hours, and you're like, oh, that's long. And then you're like, it goes by like that.
Yeah,
like,
it
oh,
really
cool.
does, man. It's wild. Fuck. Yeah. God damn it, Kill Tony, man. I'd love to go see
Is that a
one day.
podcast in to like talk about another podcast?
No,
so.
no.
Dude,
We do it all the
you know
time.
what I was shocked about? There are whole entire podcast channels that just cover gossip and drama for podcasts. I just stumbled on one of these the other day, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy fuck. This
Didn't realize how many people hate Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people hate that guy, apparently.
He kind of
Yeah, but
has it
there
coming.
are whole entire networks of podcasts that just talk about drama.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on here, man? It's wild. So I think all bets are off, just like tattooing and TikTok and all that shit, which I do want to get into your content.
Okay. Yeah.
So when we met, obviously I did the fucking Instagram creeper, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, who the fuck is this guy?
Why is this guy next to JoJo? And
Which, I'm shocked that I'm next to JoJo, by the way. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I started looking and I'm like, God damn it, dude. Like, your commentary on shit is fucking spot on. You know what I mean? For a lot of that shit. And it tickled me because I think you're putting out a lot of things that a lot of people don't get to fucking say. You know what I mean? Like, it's shit that gets said in a tattoo shop. You know what I mean? But the way in which, and I only know from talking to JoJo, who's the most old school dude, you know, how he feels about shit, and I'm not going to even dare to ever say it. But it's really, I really like the way at which you will find a video of someone doing some ridiculous shit, and you're like, well, hold on now, you know, or like the injuries, and you know what I mean? Like, is that something that just drives you nuts, or what?
Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of material out there.
Right.
No, it's really weird because like my Instagram, I've had it since it came out,
right?
And before I was even tattooing, and I like it took me like 10 years to get to 3,000 followers.
Sure, yeah.
And then it took me 8 months to get to like 50,000.
Right, yeah.
So it's all been like very recent, and I take it with a huge grain of salt. Like it doesn't mean a lot. Like the follower count, like it can get to you at first, and you're like, who fucking cares? Like
cares?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just started with I saw people doing like reaction videos to other things,
right?
And then I saw the very first one was a lady tattooing, and she wiped like 3 tattoos in a row with the same paper towel, and I was like, cross contamination. Oh my god! Like I'm not like. Yeah. I'm not a total nerd about like cleanliness and stuff, but also like there's certain things you just don't do.
Yeah.
And so I just made a video. I think I called it like tattoo version of Human Centipede, and how like
that's right.
The first person's fine, the second person what it may be, but the third person's definitely got a disease now.
They're dead. Yeah. They're gonna die. Yeah.
And then I just kept doing them because I thought it was fun. And and my formula is I wake up in the morning, I take pre-workout, I go out to the garage and I work out, and I like go on Instagram in between like working out. And then when I see something funny or I think I have an opinion on it, I'll make a little video real quick.
So so you do it right then.
Always
just
in my garage, totally off the cuff.
Yeah.
The only time I'll write anything down is if it's a pun video, and I'll like write them all down.
Yeah, I watched a really good one the other day, dude. It was cracking me up. But yeah, it's just such a there's so many topics that come up, especially the last one that you had to post like a retort video on, right? Because of
the apprenticeship thing.
The apprenticeship thing, which was, you know, something we were kind of talking about. But, you know, like even like what kids are doing now is they're seeing this shit on TikTok. And my daughter just showed you the thing she's been doing on herself, right?
Yeah,
and she's seeing
Thank God it was with pen.
Right, yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Like,
my daughter is a really good artist. And she just in the last 4 months, 5 months, she's been telling me she wants to be a tattooer. You know what I mean? I'm like,
so what was the video?
Cool.
What was the context of the video?
The apprenticeship one?
Yeah, maybe we should explain that.
Yeah. It was someone just tattooing like fake skin, and it really wasn't even about that person.
Right.
But they had, I think the commentary was like day 2 of teaching myself to tattoo or something like that.
Right.
I don't necessarily think they're doing anything wrong, and they just were like a catalyst for like the point I wanted to make. And so, and I try to be very careful too. Like, I don't want to make fun of anyone too much.
Of course not.
Unless they're like tattooing without gloves and they're like tweakers in a garage. Like, I'll make fun of them. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I really try not to like put anyone down. I try to, you know what I mean? I do struggle with like, am I being too negative? Whatever.
It's needed.
Yeah,
it's needed. I mean, you're being hard on yourself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
you know,
also,
but
it's coming from Jay. So
but it's needed. You're right. But I think that people need more. Hey, man, that's fucking stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I really don't care about your feelings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hey, look, come back when you can tattoo better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give it a year at another apprentice, and then come back.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's that shit gets thrown out there, and people just get hurt, and then they don't do it, or they just don't know what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah,
you know, and that
everyone's
needs to be said.
Everyone is probably too nice. Where I'll see someone like objectively with bad work, and you know, they'll comment on a video something like, "Oh, I just I had an apprenticeship and I left after a month because they were so mean, and I'm so much better off now teaching myself, doing my own thing." And you'll get people like applauding them and and like talking them up. "Oh, great job, do your thing." And then you look at their work and you're like, yeah, I could have guessed. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, that video was just someone teaching themselves. And so I just made a video and it was sarcastic. It wasn't even that harsh.
No,
but I was like,
it wasn't.
I was like, oh, hey, here's a crazy idea. What if you I don't know, like exchange working at a tattoo shop, and then someone who's been doing it, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years could like show you what they know in exchange for you helping them out at their shop.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll call it like an apprenticeship or something. Like that was the video. And it got so much backlash.
Right.
And then I posted a follow-up video where I like kind of took the gloves off for the first time. Like where I was like, nah, like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah. It was
that's needed. It is seriously needed, man.
But it's so divided. You either are on the side of like, you started tattooing within, prior to like 5 years ago or whatever, and you did an apprenticeship, or there's people still doing legit apprenticeships now.
Right.
Like those people get it. Or you're on the side of like, you're a gatekeeper. How dare you tell anyone they can't do it?
Thing. Yeah.
And it's hard because there's a lot of things where I feel like gatekeeping isn't needed, and like,
right.
Like the gun thing. I'm super into guns, right? I'm into training, and I hold myself to like a professional standard when it comes to like firearms training. There's people that do it professionally, as in like they're in the military and they feel like you shouldn't have a plate carrier and you shouldn't know how to shoot really well. Okay. Yeah. And that's a form of gatekeeping that I don't agree with, because, and the reason, and I think it's important to get into like what we're actually talking about. Me LARPing and putting on a plate carrier and knowing how to shoot really well doesn't hurt anybody else. Unless they're on the other end of that gun because they're like trying to kill my kids or something. Totally. But you know what I mean? Like that in itself, I'm not making money off of it. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not permanently damaging anyone. Same thing, like, if someone wants to gatekeep about something, but that it's like a hobby or something like that. We're talking about tattooing someone. Right. We're talking about bloodborne pathogens, infection, disease. And even if you take all of that away, you're putting something, you're permanently altering someone's look. Something like, name another thing that lasts forever on a person's body. I'm sorry if I take that serious, and I'm sorry if I'm like passionate about learning it correctly. And they'll debate what's correct, well, like I could teach myself. And I've said to people in comments, look, there are plenty of good artists who taught themselves. Ask them if they think that was the easiest path. It's not. I'm not saying I don't want you to be a tattoo artist. I'm not gatekeeping the career. I'm just saying this is the path. It's like, you're not actually upset that I'm being a gatekeeper. You're mad that like I'm pointing out that this is the gate. Here's the way through the gate. And you go, I don't like that way. Gatekeeper.
I'm going to take this longer way.
If you're like with the firearms, you need to learn correctly how to do things.
It's a skill set.
There's somebody
you're learning
that's been doing it for a long time that can show you how to do it correctly.
Absolutely.
So if you want to call somebody that's going to teach you how to do something correctly a gatekeeper, I think you're an asshole.
And
I think that doesn't get called out enough. You guys are a bunch of entitled little pricks. Stop being entitled. Get on the apprentice program. Go take lessons from a true instructor. You know what I mean? Learn how to grade from a master. You know what I mean? Come and watch me do porn.
It's
follow Dan OnlyFans.
It's so true, and that's such a great point, because if I do want to learn at a professional level, and let's say firearms, I pay people a lot of money to take classes to learn to do that.
100%.
The version of that would be if I went up to that person and said, teach me how to shoot, you gatekeeper. And they're like, yeah, I'll teach you. You got to pay me money. And so like Deb Yarian, I'm going to mess up her name. She's an OG in the tattoo world. Been doing it a very long time. One of the like, I would say the raddest like female tattooers that was like early on. And she's so rad. She'll DM me when I post videos sometimes, and like she's been fighting this fight way longer than I have.
I'm fucking sure.
But she sent a video clip. It was her on a podcast with Freddie Corbin and I forget who else. And she said that she'll have clients come in and say like, teach my daughter how to tattoo. And she goes, give me your house. And they go, what? And she's like, why is your daughter just entitled to what I worked so hard for? And she gave this analogy. She said, if I see someone on the side of the road and their car broke down and they're like struggling to get home, I will see if they're okay. I'll give them a ride home. I'm not giving them a ride to Disneyland. And I was like, that's it. That
totally makes sense. Because when I think of what you're talking about and the reference that there's, like, I came from the punk rock DIY world. You can do it your fucking self, right? And I think there's a wildly valid, like, skill set that you can do that with.
Yeah.
Now that changes when you are affecting people around you, right? Like with what I do, building roads and freeways, or with what you're doing, permanently altering someone else's fucking body.
Yeah.
Those things need to be taught by professionals that know what the pitfalls are, the dangers, all this shit. Yeah, if you want to be in a band and fucking get in a van and go eat shit on your own accord, that's not hurting anyone besides you. But when it comes to a skill set, a true trade, it has to be, in my opinion, taught by from a teacher to someone else. You know, you can do a lot of the footwork on your own. You can work on fucking flash and your line work and your shading, all that shit, all the fucking time, no problem.
And that's where you should start.
And that's where you should start, right?
And the problem is their first step is buy a tattoo machine, do a sheet on a fake skin, and then they're tattooing their friends. It's like, you didn't spend any time on the foundations.
And I've got tattoo work on people that didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
I bought him a gun and said, hey, I've seen you draw before. Why don't you do some tattoos on me and you'll get better. You know, and didn't even think nothing about it. I got a bunch of horrendous shit on me now. You know,
as you get older,
and,
you know
what I like about the analogy of when if you want, you know, if you just want to go and play punk rock,
right?
You go grab a guitar and start doing it. But if you want to play some high-level jazz bass,
right?
You need to go to school.
100%.
You need to learn what you're doing. You know what I mean? You could
Yeah.
take a hammer and beat a fucking guitar and go yah, 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 and it's punk rock. But if you want to play high-level metal or jazz or funk or
Classical,
whatever it is,
you need to put the time in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the masters take lessons from people still.
Yeah.
You know, if they see somebody go, oh shit, how did you do this? What did you do here? How did you blend that? How did you, you know?
Right.
It's just, it's all work.
When it comes to a trade, a true fucking trade, a true craft, you have, like, I just don't, and it's part of this whole entire culture that, you know, and as much as I love my kids, I'm, you know, the entitlement to things at certain points, you're like,
incredible.
You know, because being a dad alone, like the amount of shit that they ask me for, I'm like, have you lost your fucking mind? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I literally just paid for my daughter to go to Magic Mountain. Like, that's $100 a day.
Oh, yeah.
And she was a absolute butthole to us, like for 2 days leading up to it. And I went, hey, do you know like what I'm, you know how fucking much I'd love to just be like, nope. You know what I mean? But of course I have a wife who's a better human than me. And she fucking rolls me back on things. Cause I'm like, trip's canceled. We're over. You know what I mean? Like,
Dad's mad. Dad's mad.
Totally. Which big surprise. You know what I mean?
I'm getting upset.
Yeah, it's just wild. But your content is entertaining in the fact that it's honest. You know what I mean? And you're not inherently mean. You know, and
Try not to be.
You always go with the funny side of it.
Yeah.
You know, especially
trust
the
me,
puns.
there's a side that is held back. I mean,
Let it go, buddy. Just let it go. Just let it go.
You have no idea.
Just let it go.
The daily struggle I have of like, I wake up, I just want to burn it all down.
I know.
I don't fucking care. I want to post really how I feel about everything and just watch the follower accounts. Like I'll piss all of you off.
Everyone. Or it goes the other way.
Yeah.
And you get me and Craig sitting there every day going, what's next?
Finally,
Let's
someone
go.
said it.
Let's go.
There's a niche for everything. And angry white guys is fucking. There's no bottom to that barrel, dude.
Yeah, all you got to do is just put on a mask.
Yeah.
You know?
There you
just
go.
put on a
Which
walking
kind of
Hey,
mask?
man, I knew that was
calm
going
down
there.
Yeah.
I said mask, not hood, you racist.
That's true.
Yeah.
I only heard one thing. But
it's hard though because you do step in it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I've had people call me out. I had one guy, this like British dude, make like a video making fun of me.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, about time. I fucking deserve that.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And I messaged him. I was like, dude, that was fucking hilarious. You know?
Nice. That's a good
and it's
move.
funny because first he just did like a response because I had like did a response video to his, right?
Sure.
And so he did a response to that. And that's all I saw at first. He didn't really like mention me. And I was like, oh no, that's what it was. He DM'd me and he goes, no hard feelings. And I go, oh, yeah, none at all, man. I was just making a video. I thought he was talking about me.
Oh.
That's what it was. And then I saw the video he made with he had my tattoos on there, clips of me on a podcast, totally roasted me. And I was like,
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's what you meant by no hard feelings.
Oh, okay.
And then I thought, this could be fun to like go back and forth. And I was like, I'm not.
How much time, dude? How much time do you have?
Yeah. And like, I don't want to get messy. And it was funny. Like my wife said when I started doing this, she's like, if you're gonna be making fun of people, just be ready.
You got to be ready.
You know, and people do. They should. But I like to just my go-to when there's a troll. You know, like a lot of times guys talking about my appearance.
Right.
They'll be like, "Oh, your facial hair looks like shit. You need to shave it." That was the most recent one. And then I said, "Oh, that's weird because your mom really likes it."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "I wish you could see me in person because you'd change your tune real quick, Papa." And then I go, "I wish you could see the silly goose in person too. I bet I could make you crack a smile." Like I always turn it really goofy and silly, or something like, "I'm sorry, I'm not more attractive for you."
Yeah,
and, like, that usually shuts
them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and fuck, dude, I don't know. It's just some of those things need to be fucking said, and
a lot of it needs to be said.
It's a new thing with the instant culture. You know what I mean? It's instant gratification culture. They watch a 15-second fucking TikTok. And then now they think like that, and good. Like if it spawns creativity in you, then fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is a path for certain things, and that's what needs to be. People need to be reminded. You know what I mean?
You are not owed a career. You are not owed anything.
Owed anything.
No. Anything in this life.
Yeah.
No one knows
equality of opportunity for sure, not equality of outcome.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's how I live.
Yeah, man.
Everyone should have the opportunity to do whatever the fuck they want. You know? And speaking of opportunities, I just saw that you are starting your own podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I figured why not?
Tats and Gats.
Yeah,
which I love. That's this motherfucker posts a couple of videos. His studio looks incredible already. I'm like, and I saw him right as you texted me you're leaving, and I'm like, this guy's gonna walk into my garage and have to battle all of my children, which he did as soon as they got here. Right?
Kids are great.
Yeah,
I have 2 kids. I want more. Like, kids are
dude. And my fucking, we're in the yard. My son comes up. And my daughter, I made my daughter show him her little thing she did, and he did something on his arm too. And I'm like, show him your fucking roly-poly. And he's like, all right. And he rips his stomach up, and he goes, burp, and he rolls his stomach. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? I'm like, welcome to my house.
He's
dude.
the best, dude. He is the best.
He's out of his fucking...
Oh, that's
dying.
I like he was reluctant at first. He's like, I want to show him. You're like, just show him the thing. Like, you meant the tattoo. And he was like, all right, fine.
Which I didn't even know he could do, by the way. I've never asked him to do that. I've never seen him do that.
That was awesome.
That's so good.
So he just showed me a new talent. But I was like, this guy's going to come into my fucking nightmare of a situation here. And
great.
He has a beautiful studio, dude. So what's going on with the, why are you doing this?
So my buddy RKB Tactical, his name's Lee. We've been training and shooting together for a little over a year now. And he's really progressed in shooting in like the last year and a half. And I don't know, we're just like friends, man. We just like hit it off. Like I just hit this table.
Good.
And and we just had this idea. My studio is like half office space for Inkton Tools, and then half tattoo studio, and then there's like this big, huge room that's like a lobby, which makes no sense because I only have like one person in there at a time. So it's just where I eat lunch and watch TV. And then, he was like, dude, you should do a podcast here. In fact, like most people when they come in say like, this is like built for a podcast.
Totally, dude. Yeah.
And then, and so we go, well, I like tattoos. He likes guns. We both like both those things. And the name is so terrible. Like Tats and Gats is so lame.
You have a certain crowd you'll be shooting towards. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
No pun.
Well, I thought like shooting twos would be cool. Or like the only other thing we came up was like inking and planking, and I was like, that's fucking
really
worse.
bad, dude. Yeah,
I guess Tats and Gats is.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, dude. I think it works. You know, the name itself. This is coming from a guy who's had every horrendous band name ever. You know, I was in a band called The Fucking Wrath, so like take that for a grain of salt. You know, when we're coming up with names here, but I do like the name. You know what I mean? And I think what's the drive of the podcast? Literally, tattoo artists, guns. I mean, any other. I'm sure that whatever happens in the conversation.
Yeah, man, we have a lot of ideas. It's mainly going to be guest centered, so we want to have dynamic, interesting guests on that we want to have conversations with.
Right.
Primarily around tattoos and guns. So the idea is like a lot of firearm instructors or people in the gun world, or like law enforcement, military. We just had a guy on. His name is Joe. We can't use his last name. He's a MARSOC Raider Special Forces guy. We had to like like not show his face and stuff.
Right.
He was phenomenal. He'll be like the 3rd episode.
Okay.
And then on the tattoo side, try to get tattoo artists that are maybe more into guns.
Sure.
There's a lot of crossover there. So yeah, but then we thought, well, it'd be cool to get people that are like not into guns, get multiple guests on. We want to have our wives on and get their perspective on our crazy antics. Because me and him shoot like at least once a month, you know, and I know it drives him crazy.
Dude, the eye roll of a wife when like a fucking night vision goggles shows up on your doorstep must be nuts.
Yeah. Until you let her wear it.
My wife rolls her eyes at when I order shit, and when it's like, oh, what are we getting today?
Yeah.
You know,
my night vision was provided by Joe Biden's stimulus check.
There you
Thank
go.
you,
That's
Joe
what's
Biden.
up, dude.
Bought me night vision.
Yeah. The government did something for you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So, I mean, you know, getting into guns and shit, obviously you're a gun fanatic, you know. I mean, we talked a little bit before. Obviously, I'm a big fan of guns. Jay's not allowed to be around him, so he can't talk about it.
I'll sit here quietly.
I left mine in the car.
Yeah. But is it something you grew up around your whole life? I mean, you said your dad was a police officer, right?
Yeah. My dad was a cop for 30 years. He was in East LA in the 90s and saw and did some shit. Yeah. He had me shooting at 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess I was shooting before I was in a tattoo shop, but just barely. And, he was the range master for his department. So when I was like 14, 15, 16, I would go out with his department and shoot their qualifier they did every quarter. And I'd put his like belt on and stand at the line and do the drills. And I'd qualify at like 14, 15.
Totally.
And there'd be guys, usually detectives, who did not qualify.
Right.
And it was so fun because my dad would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, my 16-year-old son can shoot this qualifier. You better fucking pass. So, it's just been my whole life. I didn't realize that was a weird thing until really I met my wife, and she was like, "You have a gun?"
Oh,
like,
really?
She's
Okay.
Like in a safe? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
guess what? That's just the one I told you about.
Well, that was earlier on. Now it's like, now she's always asking me, like, you have your gun on you, right? I'm like, yeah, of course. I've had my CCW for about 7 years. So.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, it's just all been very normal to me, not realizing a lot of people don't grow up around that.
Right.
And it's totally shocking to them. But, you know.
It is, because I grew up in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, yeah,
and you had a gun in the window. Mm-hmm. We had firearms training in junior high.
Yeah.
It was either junior high or elementary, but it had to have been junior high. They had hunting and gun safety courses that were, given as an afternoon class before you leave school for the day. And all the kids, all the boys especially, because we were the ones out there hunting. Yeah. I know things have changed and everybody hunts now, but
yeah, of course.
Back then, men were men. But yeah, we took the classes, and it was really, and my dad, same thing, different type of guy, but had us shooting guns at 5 and 6 and 7 years old, and bought me a 22 when I was like 11 or 12, and always taught us, and one of the only times I remember getting my ass whooped was he caught me shooting at somebody with a BB gun, and he tore into me, man, and my dad never did that, and he woo-cha, Maggie,
fucking remind you, dude.
Oh,
who he
dude,
was? Yeah.
Hey, man, and I knew when we caught us that we were in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Yeah,
But that's the thing that's missing in this culture is that, of all the things that are happening in this world, which are fucking terrible, school shootings, mass shootings, all that stuff, I think a lot of it is because of lack of gun knowledge and lack of experience with them. And you get all these kids in fucking bad neighborhoods that their older brother gets a gun, and you see them fucking throwing it around the house, and you think that's how guns work. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas I was raised same as Jay and probably same as you, where with, I was raised in the desert, is a little more wild, but if I I got slapped in the head every fucking time my finger was on the trigger that it wasn't supposed to be. If that gun was not where it was supposed to be, I was getting fucking, seriously reprimanded.
A healthy fear and respect.
100%. 100%.
And that's something we want to do with the podcast. I've been thinking about this in the last day or two. We just filmed yesterday. Is like, I do want to normalize firearm ownership and training and to a higher professional level in our culture, and not even like, there's so many people that just think like no one should have a gun. I'm like bypassing that. That's like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not even going to acknowledge that. We're going to go into like everyone should be trained. Everyone should carry. Everyone should be at like a professional standard. Like that's the norm. I'm not even paying attention to the like. No one should have one. Get out of here.
Yeah. If you don't want one, don't have one.
Totally.
My wife hated guns. Hated guns.
Yeah. Right.
So, I never had a gun in the house.
Yeah.
I just
never
I
took
got
her
to,
shooting
whatever.
or nothing. No, nothing's gonna happen.
She wasn't. There was no way that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I know how to use one, and if I need one, it's one phone call away, and I'm good.
You're not talking about the cops, are you?
Of course.
Because if that's, they might take some time to get there.
No, my friends will get there a lot quicker.
Okay, good. Yeah. Count on your friends.
It's just it's a wild. I see what's going on.
That whole cop thing is wildly crazy. Who the fuck wants to do that? That is just ridiculous.
It's a wild.
That is some ridiculously dumb shit.
Who would ever
fucking do that?
Dude, it just doesn't make sense. Everything's going to shit in this world, and then somebody wants to be a cop.
But hey,
it is just
here's the thing.
Out of fucking bounds, man.
In a crazy world, if strong, good men don't continue
Right.
to stand up and do that job, society's going to be in a lot more trouble.
Well, we found out when, they defunded the police, how
Jesus.
fucking bad things can get, you know what I mean? And like I said, I have mixed feelings about it, and great cops are awesome and bad cops are fucking terrible. But you need someone around to make the people go, should I do this or should I not do this? You know what I mean?
It's a
at
good
least that,
check and balance on society. Most people live their life every single day not realizing what potential bad shit is out there. I encourage everyone, try to do a ride along. See what that job is like on a day-to-day basis, how many calls there are, how many people who probably hate the police are perfectly happy to waste their time to go knock on their neighbor's door and tell them to turn down the music because they're too scared to do it themselves. Like, you know what I mean? If you hate the cops so much, just don't call them. Totally simple. But go see what that job is like. See what bad shit is out there. And then when you do like a ride-along or something like that, you see that, you need a check against, like, I get it, dude. Some cops are bad. Like,
yeah, of course.
I get that there are bad cops out there, but if you think that's bad, the alternative is a lot worse. You know what I mean?
Like I said, you see it now with what's happening in San Francisco, all the cities in America. Every business is moving out of them.
Now.
Orange County.
Well, sorry, San Francisco's cleaned up now. We're looking good
for
about the next
3 more days.
5 minutes. Totally. It's wild what they did, huh? Have you followed that stuff?
Yeah. I lived in San Francisco for about 5 years when I was in school. I lived in the Bay Area. I lived like South Berkeley on the border of Oakland for a year, and then I lived in the city. And this was 10 years ago, and back then it was pretty bad, but not too bad. You could still afford to live there.
Right.
Heading towards gentrification.
Yeah, and like you could rent a room with like a bunch of hippies, and like you get a little room for like $500, and like in the heart of the city. Now that would probably cost $10,000.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
But and there was like some transients. I mean, San Francisco's always kind of been like that.
Yeah.
There's like a big hippie side of me too that loves all that. I went to art school. Like I'm not
right. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah,
but yeah, it's changed a lot.
It has, man, and I think it's an argument for why me personally, like I said, I'm a general lefty on most social issues. I want everyone to have health care. I want everyone, all that stuff. Like I generally want to see people doing better. But I also have been taught from a very early age that the reason we are allowed to have guns is to protect ourselves from a fucking tyrannical government.
Yeah.
That's it. Pure and simple. And that's the most simple. And I had a really long conversation a couple months ago with a chick that is adamantly against him, thinks it's the fucking worst thing ever. And I said, and we had this long discussion about why I own guns. And that is it. That is the reason, is to be able to protect myself and my family. And if shit goes wrong, the first thing that happens is if the government takes your weapons, you have nothing to defend yourself with. You know what I mean? And that's where I leave.
Dude, look at Ukraine and Israel now.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me as a civilian there's no need for me to be like, I don't know, prepared to
something.
Yeah. So that's why I try to train at a professional level.
Right.
Like professional military level. Like I do have night vision and a helmet and the kit and all that stuff. Like and I'm like way further on the spectrum than what most people consider normal. But to me, it's perfectly normal, perfectly acceptable. And I think every civilian should be at that level, you know?
Yeah, they should at least understand how to fucking draw a fire. You know what I mean?
Even if it's not, because that is a pretty expensive level to get to.
It is.
You know, and so even to be able to comfortably be able to draw your weapon, to comfortably move back and forth, sideways, know what you're doing,
clear a room,
or just be able to know you need to step a certain direction so that you're not crossing your body or trying to turn the wrong way. Simple little. I mean, there's a lot of little simple stuff that people could learn and afford it.
The basics is like 90% of it. The last 10% is like the fun stuff. But like
the John Wick shit,
the psycho shit.
But I mean, like the majority of it is, and we actually just talked about this on the podcast with we had an instructor on, Mark Achenbach from First Defense, and he was saying, you know, like one of the most underrated aspects of training is little things like situational awareness. Like the biggest part of like self-protection is a lot of not sexy stuff, like paying attention to your surroundings.
We dealt with that today, actually, right before you fucking got here. So our neighborhood is generally 99% safe, right? But there is some weird shit that goes on. My daughter was getting off. She takes the city bus home from school. She drops her off down at the end of the street. She got a call from she calls my wife and goes, "Hey, I feel really weird. I don't want to walk from the bus. Something's going on. Can you come pick me up?" My wife fucking runs over there, and sure as shit, dude, this fucking white car pulls up as she's getting off the bus, sees her, backs up, turns around. Someone in the car is trying to wave her over. And my daughter, and I raise my kids very aware. When you are walking through neighborhoods, you are not staring at your phone. I want you to be fucking at least one headphone out, be paying attention. And she fucking got a vibe, dude. And as soon as my wife pulled up, this fucking car turns around and whoop, and takes off.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it could have been a nothing burger, but it also could have been the worst fucking case scenario, right? And I was so fired up. I like literally drove her the neighborhood. You know, I was like,
find this car.
Fucking any white car is getting blasted, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, when it comes to your kids, man,
and that's the thing, you know. And we have to, as much as we want our kids to be little floaty artists and fucking love and entitled to all this shit, you have to raise your kids to be aware of what the fuck is going on, and to to trust their feelings. If they feel weird, I'd rather my daughter be wrong 1,000 times. You know what I mean? Than not wrong once, right?
You've gone through this, I know, where you just talked about your wife and her not quite understanding in the beginning. I will have a conversation with somebody where I'll tell them, "Hey, look, if I ever say something to you and you can tell that I'm serious, don't fucking question me. If I tell you, hey, move, do this now. And if I reach over and grab your arm and I move you, there's something going on. Don't ask. Don't go what? Don't go nothing. I need you to understand that I'm seeing something that you're not, and something's about to happen, and I need you to do what I fucking tell you to do. You know, and so many people just don't. You know, I grew up needing to be situationally aware my whole life. So it is always, you know, we talked about it, and you know, you just always are aware, hyper aware of stuff, you know, and it's just amazing how many people don't. Now, how many
they're oblivious.
It is mind blowing. Watch. I just watched some young lady walking across the street the other day, and she looked, and then as soon as she was done looking, she walked across Ventura Road, and just phone in hand. She could see where she was going, but she was not. And I'm like,
it's crazy.
I mean, I'll drive that way, but I'm not walking. I'm just kidding.
We're men. We're men. It's different. You know what I mean? Yeah, we can walk and chew gum.
It's just because the situational awareness that me and Jay share is that we were raised in chaotic fucking trauma. You know what I mean? So that, like, we talk about all the time, like, there's not one part of us that me and Jay are going to a restaurant and sitting with our back to not seeing all the doors and exits. That's how I was raised. You know what I mean? Because I've constantly, every time, and me and Jay talk about this all the time, every time I enter a room, I know where the exits are and what table I'm flipping, and fucking I'm out. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's worth its weight in gold. Like,
it is, but we both had to endure like insane childhoods, you know what I mean, to get there. But you know, you come out on the side. But if you can train yourself like without all that other crazy shit, not that you didn't have a nuts childhood at some point, but
I think mine was more from my dad being a cop,
right?
But and so he just kind of instilled that, But yeah, my wife wasn't, like, again, raised like that. And there's so many times, it's taken years for her to understand my mindset when and like, we used to go to bars. You know, now we have kids, we can't go to bars.
Yeah. Don't do anything.
But like, I remember one specific incident. I used to be able to pick out the guy who's going to be a problem in a second.
Right.
And we walked into a bar, it was like with her sister and her husband, whatever. And I go, that guy is going to cause problems.
It's going to be a problem. Right?
Sure as shit, that guy ended up, he was friends with my wife's sister and friends, whatever. We were going to go back to their house. They went in a different car. They go through Jack in the Box. He ends up hitting his chick and then fighting the other guys in the car and running away and all this crazy shit. And I was like, I fucking knew it,
dude. Yeah. You do get like a third, like an awareness about you. You know what I mean? But however you can get it, you know, take it. But
well, that intuition thing you talked about with your daughter, that's huge. The only times I've gotten myself into big trouble is like not trusting that gut. Like, that is there for a reason. That is real.
Yeah.
Like,
and when it comes to training with a weapon, it's the adrenaline alone of shooting a firearm and then being in a situation where you have to be aware of your surroundings. Like, that is that next step that everyone should experience a little bit, you know what I mean, in my mind, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
It is, you know? I mean, as far as we kind of talked about it a little bit, you know, as far as gun control and all that stuff, I can't assume you're a fan of all of California's shit, right?
I am...
I'm assuming. Wait, hold on. I'm assuming that you love every rule in California and you abide by all of them, right?
Follow them all. I'm not a fan of any gun laws at all. I'm a Second Amendment purist, baby. Like,
that's it, huh?
Give me an F-15. Give me a tank. I want one of those cool javelins that they had in Ukraine. You know, give me it all.
All of it, huh?
Yeah.
And what is, you know, because we kind of touched on this a little bit, and I don't know if you want to get into this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, for me personally, like, I really don't have any problems with comprehensive gun control, right? Starting with the wait period doesn't kill me. The jumping through hoops, like, I still can't fucking buy ammo right now because I dared to re-register my gun to my new address, and that has not fucking gone through in 3 weeks somehow. You know what I mean? So that's a whole thing. There's a lot of the California
ammo.
What's that?
What's the deal with buying
You
ammo?
now have to have a firearm registered in your name at your current address. To be able to purchase ammo.
Right.
And you have to do a background check for ammo now in California.
Yeah. Which is, and those are things that, like, I just disagree with. If you already have the gun, you should be able to fucking buy it. But same things, like, you know, but what I think they're lacking in the gun control, and I think that you agree, is the mental background check. Yeah. Right?
It's hard because it's a slippery slope. The whole red flag thing, can it be abused? But yeah, I mean, we got to do something. Here's the thing: I don't think the access to firearms alone is causing any of this.
No.
I think because, like you said, you grew up in a time where they taught it in school. You had a gun range in the bottom of the gymnasium. Right. Everyone went hunting. Everyone had access. Yet that didn't happen the way it does.
Right.
And I have 2 kids. My daughter just started public school this year. TK. Handing over the responsibility of her safety to strangers that I don't know at public school. No one prepared me for that.
Yeah.
I thought diapers and sleepless nights was hard. No. Public school's way gnarlier, dude.
Yeah.
I cried so hard.
Did you?
No hard. No, like 1 tear, you know?
One just mad, angry man tear, you know?
No, it was sentimental. It was like, dude, that went fast.
It does. Anyway, it hits you, man.
Anyway, I do, you know, and I think that this covers a lot of issues that people disagree on politically. There's a tendency to say we disagree, so therefore you're not a good person.
Right.
And I can't stand that. I have friends, close friends, that we disagree wildly on political things or cultural things, whatever. We can sit and discuss it. And I know, and we both agree that I don't think you're a bad person. You don't think I'm a bad person. Right. We just disagree on this topic. We need to get back to that at some point. So all that to say, with the gun control stuff, it's not that I don't care. I care deeply about the issues with school shootings and mass shootings. I just have a different solution to it. And if I, for 1 second, thought any gun control measure would stop that for a second, 100% would be for it. I just don't believe that it will. And I believe other measures would be more effective at stopping those things.
What do you think is the cause of what is happening right now? Do you have an opinion on it?
I think culture. I think the world needs Jesus.
I
think that. I think
y'all
that
motherfuckers need Jesus.
I really do, man. I think that the society and the culture that we live in sells a version of living that I think is a lie, and it goes a lot deeper than just these topics. But yeah, I think that's something that's missing. Strong family units. I think that getting back to some of the older school things like saying hard things and being honest with people could go a long way. But what's causing that issue, I think, is mental illness, mental health. And I don't think you solve mental health issues by controlling the purchase of firearms.
Right. Yeah. Because as, you know, a guy who is not a criminal, but has a million members of my family that are, it would take me about 10 minutes to get a gun if I really needed one. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I do agree with you. You know,
and
for
illegally,
me,
like,
I mean, almost anything I want. You know, if I really wanted to. You know?
I don't know if you know this too. Like, drugs are pretty illegal.
Yeah.
I bet it would take me 5 minutes in Ventura, where we're at, where I've never really been before. I bet I could find drugs in 5 minutes.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. And
probably quicker than that.
Yeah. We'll hook you up later.
Turns out I don't have to go that far.
We'll knock it down in about 15 seconds.
But no, all these things are also illegal in prisons, which are very strict control, and those things get in,
and it still gets
everything gets in.
People are gonna do it, but yeah, I mean, the religion aspect of it is interesting because there's a thing that is going around right now, kind of in the ethers. Ether. In the ether?
Yeah, I'll take ether.
In the ether.
In the
In
atmosphere?
the atmosphere. You know, where people are talking about a lot of, thank you, Kenny, for confirming.
Actually controversial. We may get flagged for saying ether.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Good to know. Yeah. We'll have to figure that one out.
And the correct terminology is ethos, isn't it?
Ethos is like a belief system. Yeah. The ether is like the air, like in the atmosphere.
I thought ether is what Hunter S. Thompson did.
Yeah, that could be. I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking moron. But there's a larger conversation happening right now about the lack of belief and the power of belief on an overall society. Yeah. And it's something that, because I was a Christian for a long time.
Rad.
And I'm not an anti-Christian anymore. I just had a problem with the church, you know, which everyone, if you're a good Christian, you fucking probably should. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless you find a great community. And there's great communities out there
for sure.
But you know, there is something to be said for a belief system. You know what I mean? And we talk about that stuff a lot, you know, like even if you get into like stoicism and shit like that, you know.
I love that you said that. I'm a big fan of stoicism. I just approach it through my Christian faith.
Sure.
You know, but like stoicism's where it's at. Man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good way to go through life.
It is, yeah. But the lack of that in our culture, like there is a larger conversation happening that it is contributing to, you know, the fucking broken family system, you know, the way in which nothing means anything, so why bother kind of fucking mentality, you know what I mean? It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it's not to say, you know, like, obviously I'm Christian, that's my faith, you know, and I understand there's a lot of different, I'm just saying, like we talked about the defunding the police, like society is saying you don't need any of these things. You don't need spirituality. You don't need a faith. You don't need to believe in God. You don't need a family. You just do whatever. Like, how's that experiment going? You know,
right?
Like, maybe some of the things that we're seeing are a symptom of those decisions that we've made along the way.
Sure.
What we've encouraged, you know.
Yeah, because like when you get into the religion aspect, the belief system of it, there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a good person and being, you know, treating people how you want to be treated, and all those tenets of faith that are really prevalent and still true, and they ring through every religion through the history of time. Those, not the 10 Commandments, but those certain belief systems, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there is a real lack of it right now, you know. And I've been after I left the church, I thought, oh, fuck this shit, you know what I mean? And I was one of those guys who was like, I'm fucking done, you know what I mean? And it's because like the Gandhi quote, if it wasn't for Christians, I would believe in Jesus, essentially. Is what he said.
No, I mean,
you know?
it's always been an issue. You know?
Always. Yeah.
I've always been on the, like, I guess the more like outsider side of church. Like I'm very active in my church.
Sure.
I do the setup and security. My wife works with the kids, and like we're part of our community, you know. But I've been to churches in the past where I remember, like, when I was younger, I liked to drink PBR and smoke cigarettes, right?
Sure.
You know, when I was like in my 20s, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was going to a church where like there was like this in crowd of cool Christians,
Sure.
and they drank bourbon and
Yeah.
they smoked pipe tobacco, and that was okay. But I drank PBR and cigarettes, and that wasn't. And it's like, it's the same thing.
Dude.
It's alcohol and tobacco. Yours is just cooler, so you accept it. And I can't stand that part of like Christian culture. And what I've experienced now, at least at the church I go to now, is like a complete 180 from that. It's just, and maybe it's the age that I'm at, where everyone's like, you know, a lot of us are at the same age, having kids and going through all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're happy.
And you
with
realize
where
that God is playing a practical joke on you by throwing these fucking kids at you, dude. You're like, you what? What are you doing?
It's eye-opening.
I didn't realize something that 2 foot tall could push every ounce of my boundaries.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah,
and
man.
then shit in the toilet in the fucking bathtub
Which
and be
just
like, what's up
happened.
with you, dude? You cleaning that or what? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
want me to tell
wild.
that story?
But there is no one more judgmental than a cool Christian. It's fucking
That's
The cool
crazy.
Christians,
That's
yeah.
where because I
insane,
wasn't
dude.
raised with any religion.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you figure it out. Here's where we're at with all this, and these are the different things you can go towards. But you're gonna figure this out on your own. I ain't telling you shit.
Yeah.
And what I see and what I think is going on is if you can get into the religion and you need that structure or want that structure, and that structure is fantastic. But there's a lot of hypocrisy that's going along with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
An insane amount of hypocrisy that people that are way more outside of it, that have never really been a part of it, are going, why? This is, you guys are
This is
like
nuts.
This is like, you guys are saying all of this, but there's certain sects of you guys going, no, Jews all need to die.
Yeah.
Black people are mud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't take that
But
out
you
of
can't-
context. Don't
yeah, but
clip
you can't.
in.
But you can't. Yeah, you can't. So it's just taking the
Yeah.
I've been around some people that are amazing human beings
Yeah.
Right.
that are whatever religion.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had a father-in-law that was Jewish. One of the kindest, most caring, takes care of everybody. Just amazing. You know, but
Yeah.
I've also worked with a guy that was this hardcore Christian, man, and he was the biggest hypocrite. I
they
could
mo-
not
yeah,
like.
they are.
He made me just go like, how do you sleep at night? How do you justify
Yeah,
who you
that's
are as a
easy,
human
dude.
being?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? You know,
Sounds like he needed
that
Jesus.
structure. Yeah,
That
yes.
Christian needs Jesus.
He
dude.
did. A lot of them
Yeah,
do.
a lot of them do, man. A lot of people need something.
What I
They
think,
need
and that's what I
something,
was saying
yeah.
is it was what people are getting now is instead of getting
Yeah.
that family structure and whatever that religious base is or whatever that base is that you need, they're getting it from TikTok, they're getting it from Instagram, they're getting it from Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we end up with these people that are like, no, you're the gatekeeper and that's wrong.
Right.
Well, no. That's your opinion.
Right.
There's a lot of people that appreciate my knowledge and want to be a part of it. And by you telling me that I'm a gatekeeper, you're actually being kind of a hypocrite in yourself.
Right.
And maybe you need to back off and look at who you are as a person and leave me alone. You know, because it's ludicrous. We can't, it's the hypocrisy from everybody is just I'm better than you. You're better than me. This is better than you. Come on, man. You know, we're all just trying to be on the same level.
Right.
And if you find good people, even people that you're like, this dude's far right. But then you have a real conversation. Then you're like, no, we're both right there in the middle.
Yeah, most
everyone
people
is.
are. I think it's the 80-20 rule. Like, it's like 80% of the people in the middle, 10% on the far right, 10% on the far
Yeah,
left. And,
right.
And most of us are normal. And I think real quick with like the Jesus thing, I think Jesus, the example he gave is he hung out with, he would be here
Everybody.
in his garage,
Yeah.
talking about tattoos and probably cussing and what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably controversial to say,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like he
If you
hung
can't
out
imagine
with,
Jesus didn't drop an F-bomb every once in a while.
For sure.
He's like, how many of you motherfuckers are thirsty? Fuck. Are you fucking serious, dude? You know how much cum that's going to take, dude? That's a lot of juice I got to put. Yeah.
I just saw. I just came across a Instagram. It's like Christians who cuss. I think it's a podcast. I haven't really checked it out. So they might be like awful, but no. I think in today's society, the most punk rock, countercultural, alternative thing I could do is be a Christian father who like is all about the family structure and like trying, you know what I mean? Like it's so countercultural now that it's like, wait, how did I become the punk rock by being like kind of conservative in my values and like Christian?
Yeah.
You see it a lot, man.
Well, I think it's also location. I think because we live in places,
Yeah.
like San Francisco and Orange County and
Yeah.
here where you get a little bit more past Bakersfield and people start to get back into the real foundation. It's just too bad they can't find work.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Well, fuck, man. I think we should wrap it up here pretty soon.
All right,
Can you do me a favor? When is the podcast dropping?
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's being edited today. I think it's ready.
All right.
Wednesday, and then
is it going to be weekly?
Okay, maybe you could give me advice. We're going to record 3 episodes every 2 weeks, and I was thinking of dropping an episode every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we constantly have a bank.
Yeah.
Do you think we should do more, like one a week, or
it's whatever works for you and your schedule?
Okay.
I'll tell you all my little dirty secrets I know. But
okay, cool.
Consistency, fucking consistency. I listen. If it's every other week, that's fine.
Okay.
I make it be a lot of podcasts, and I have since they started. That once a week is the way to go.
Yeah.
Once a week.
I look forward to my podcast. Yeah. I know when they're dropping. I know every Monday morning I'm listening to Two Bears, One Cave.
Right.
I mean, you're right. I wake up in the morning on Mondays or Tuesdays because I go to work on Tuesdays, and I'm like, okay, first thing I do, go straight to it, know that it's happening, and then just start working through the podcast at that point.
Yeah. I'm the same way. So you hear that, Lee? We're doing more podcasts.
Yeah.
So podcast is dropping soon,
and it'll be once a week.
And it'll be apparently it's going to be once a week. Where can people find you on all the things?
So for my tattooing, it's just Alex Coulter Tattoo on Instagram. I think that's only, and alexcoulter.com. If you want to see my website, which just points you to Instagram.
Yeah.
And then for my other business, the booking software thing, it's just inkedintools.com or on Instagram, it's Inked Tools. And then the podcast is Tats and Gats podcast or something like that on Instagram.
Will be available everywhere.
Spotify, Apple, YouTube, not Facebook.
Yeah. Fuck Facebook.
Who's on Facebook
Who's
anymore?
On Facebook anymore? That's rude. Yeah. All right, man.
All us old people.
Fucking terrible. I hate that. I hate that app, dude. Fuck Threads too while we're at it.
I didn't even try.
I don't
Whatever.
No idea.
No TikTok for me. Just
yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to get famous, though, you know what I mean?
I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take Instagram, like, shutting down my numbers.
There you go.
Like,
yeah, fuck it. You can get shadow banned on there just as easy.
I think it might be.
Well, dude, thank you so much for making the trek out here. Thank you for coming on.
Great conversation, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. That went by fast.
We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.